It's a great day to turn on a podcast. Thanks for listening. This is Let's Hang Out. Holy cow, you guys, it's episode number 10. Welcome back to Let's Hang Out. I can't believe we made it 10 episodes, guys. I'm in kind of a weird spot with the whole thing because I'm trying to think of different topics for the future. Like, I've got a few episodes already recorded, and I was sitting here and going through my list of topics to bring up, and I just kind of had that realization of, like, it's episode 10, really kind of running with the project the way that I wanted to, learning things along the way, and I thought, you know, what a better episode than to take a second and thank you guys for listening. And to kind of recap the first 9, plus this episode 10, and the ones I've recorded that you guys will get to soon, just to kind of, like, reground things, you know? Because again, it's a show for you guys to come and hang out and feel like you're just having a chat, having fun. So if you guys are listening to me while you're driving, listening while you're just chilling at home, doing your thing, just kind of taking time to relax, whatever the situation is, I appreciate you guys. As always, please feel free to join the conversation on Twitter at Letshangoutpod. You guys can find me on pretty much every social now with that tag at Letshangoutpod. We are on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, the whole thing. We are working on getting some videos out there. I say we, it's me. But again, we in the sense of you guys are part of this project too. You guys listening in, whether you're new, old, regular listeners, we're putting things out there. We've got videos coming out on YouTube. We've got short videos on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Right now, it's a lot of audio clips and, you know, talking about what we're working on and where I'm at with the project and kind of how I feel with things. That's one of the first things I really want to talk about. You know, putting the pod together, initially my thought was that I wanted to do the traditional just audio pod. And even as I'm sitting here recording this episode, I would normally have a camera going and recording it and beating myself up later because the background isn't what I want. You know, it's the bedroom behind me. I've got laundry on the bed right now. And it's just things like that I don't really want to show just yet. Because I like the idea of keeping this area as private. It's the master bedroom. It should be. You know, I would normally have the video going and be putting these together and thinking to myself, okay, I should make a clip. Okay, I should put this out. I should make a short, whatever. And I didn't start thinking that way until about episode 4 or 5. The idea of a video podcast or having video as part of it was there in the early stages, but it wasn't the primary focus. It wasn't something that I was like, oh, I have to make this video format. It was the, we'll get there eventually kind of idea. And it's getting there, you know? We're still working on it. I've got footage for the next episode 9 that just came out. I've got video. Hopefully I have that one up by now. Again, I'm recording this in between episodes, so certain ones have already happened. Ones that I've recorded ahead of time have not been edited and put together yet. But there's a lot that I'm still learning from all this. And you guys are getting to listen to, you know, cleaned up audio, and the videos are edited so that way it's a lot easier to watch and things like that. Like, there's a lot behind the scenes that I wish you guys could see. There's a lot of stuff I wish that I could show you guys during the pod. But I've got some video that I've been working on for episode 9. Again, by the time this gets posted, hopefully I've got some of that up. Because I really like the way that worked out. It was a video podcast that I recorded with my friend James. It was a great episode. It was a great recording session. Things worked out great across the board. It was a lot of fun. We laughed. The video turned out great. I have my complaints about the video format because we use Zoom, which I hate Zoom. But being able to have that blurred background and things like that, I was able to actually have the camera going and record the room behind me. You know, I'd put up some color lighting behind me to make it a little easier, clean things up a bit, but it was nice because it was us just hanging out, talking. I didn't have to worry about everything else. And some of the footage was great because, again, we were just genuinely laughing and having a good time with things. I hope that some of that turned out really well and I was able to get those clips up. I don't know at this point because, again, I haven't posted it. I don't know. It's so weird having to talk in 2 different time frames. But it was fun. You know, I like the idea of doing the video side of things and kind of really focusing to produce something that you guys can visually join in on. I can't guarantee that every episode's going to end up that way, and I can't guarantee that every topic is going to be video worthy. There might even be some times when I'm doing a solo episode like this where I produce something or I do some kind of graphic, some kind of generated video to support it. I've got a whole list of ideas and I'm excited for them. I hope you guys have been enjoying what's been coming out, and I know it's not the traditional everybody's fun topic kind of stuff. It's a little more grounded, a little more real life stuff. And I hope that you guys are resonating with some of that somewhere and taking the moment to kind of really enjoy the adventure that we're on together. You guys are here with me every episode, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys, whether it's a few minutes on the 20-minute episodes, hanging out for the long ones. Speaking of long ones, the previous episode when we recorded it was 2 hours worth of recording, and I had to cut it down. I did an hour 20 by the time it was done, and I debated back and forth. I'd made the comment with James too about splitting the episode into two, and I decided to stick to just a single episode because there was so much going on. There were a couple spots for a natural break, but it felt right to do one solid episode for the first one with him. But again, it's going through these things, going through the episodes, the topics, and working through some of the problems. I had an episode of 3 episodes ago for technical difficulties that I was having in the early part. And it's been a learning experience, and you guys have gotten to listen to some of that, and hopefully things have improved. Hopefully audio quality has improved a bit. I felt good where it was at. And I was very fortunate to have a couple of other podcasters listen in and sample some of the episodes and give me their feedback. And I've worked with things, I've tweaked it a little bit. I'm still working on sound quality because, again, I am recording in the corner of the bedroom here, so I'm facing a corner. My voice is reverberating off the walls because I don't have anything to pad that just yet. It's not the ideal recording situation, but it works, and it's been working. I think the quality is pretty good. It's not a 10, but there's very few podcasts that I think are a 10. But it's something that I'm working on. And I've told you guys that it's going to be a growing thing. It's going to be a learning thing. And as I go along, it's going to get better. But so far for 10 episodes, I think we've done pretty damn good. The episodes with the guests that we've had on here, we've had Mig Train on episode 2. We had James on episode 9. I just recently recorded episode 11. So the next one, because I wanted to give some time to edit. We brought back Mig Train, and we finally got Zeralius on here, and that was just kind of a shoot from the hip topic podcast. I don't know how to describe it. It was fantastic. I don't think I've laughed that hard with the two of them together in a very long time, and it filled my heart. It was great. I loved it. I know there's been a lot of talk between the three of us the short time after the pod was recorded of I really don't know what I brought to the episode. It was meant to hang out, and they did exactly that, so we achieved the goal. And even though it was, again, shoot from the hip style, I thought it was fun. Definitely going to bring more topics next time and kind of lead with a topic versus the open floor, which is normally how I do these. I don't pre-plan much for the episodes because I like to have it naturally occur. The more natural the pod comes across, I think the more authentic it is, because there's not a lot that do that. There's a lot of structure to episodes. There's a lot of structure to an interview. And I'm really one of those guys that just doesn't like the extra pinpoint things that need to happen and following the bullet points. I like being able to sit here with you guys and just chat and talk about things that have happened. We had a self-affirmation episode that came out recently, and I was really proud of that one because it was a lot of stuff related to what was going on in my own world, and taking a moment to remind myself that I am capable of doing many things. This pod is one of those. I doubted myself for a long time starting the podcast, and this has turned out to be one of those things that I have appreciated from the minute that I did the first episode. There's a lot that I learned. There's a lot of things that I'm still learning, but I'm having a blast doing it, and that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. For you guys, I want the episodes to feel like you're involved, whether or not you've directly made a comment and I've read up on it, whether you have suggested a topic or any of that stuff. I want you to feel like you're involved, even if it's just listening and hanging out. I want you guys to feel comfortable with it. So hopefully I've achieved that goal. Going back to the episode about the Taskmaster and multitasking, this project is pushing my limits on multitasking because it requires me to do a number of things in a very short time, and it requires a crazy amount of coordination with all the craziness in my personal life, with my wife's schedule, with my kids' schedule, all of it. We finally got to the point where we are recording ahead of time, well ahead of time, and adjusting schedules to make things work, editing the episodes in a fairly regular time frame, and just doing a lot of extra pieces that I didn't consider. So again, some more behind the scenes stuff for you guys. For me to put together an episode, I have to record the audio, clean up all the audio, work on the background music. Sometimes I have to record a new intro clip because I want to keep those cycling. I like to have a little folder of intros and switch it out every now and then because not everyone's going to work with the From the Desk in the Pacific Northwest intro. I love that one, but I like having variety. So working on that stuff, and even beyond the audio side of things, putting together the thumbnails for all the videos that go up. The YouTube videos of the episodes have their thumbnails that are out right now, and they're generic. It's not my favorite thing yet. I'm going to put something together a little more formal, with a little more effort put into it. But for now, it's doing the job that I want it to do. It's getting the episodes out there, and that's what really matters. But I've also got things like the thumbnails for each of the episodes on Spotify, because those get sent out to every other podcast network that I'm connected to. So I need to have the thumbnails for those. To edit the thumbnails, I need to take green screen photos of myself doing silly faces and things. And that takes some time because I have to have a day where there's not the kids running around, where I'm not doing a bunch of other tasks, because the setup takes a little time. The green screen getting set up and making sure that it's balanced, it's high enough, I have the right lighting, that I've got my camera situated. Like, the whole thing is just, it's a whole production to do like 2 hours worth of green screen video and photo and all of that stuff. I enjoy doing it, but it's a lot of extra work, and it's things that I didn't consider when I started this. And again, that not considering things, that kind of goes into getting ahead of myself and not having the plan together and not realizing all these little pieces. But some of that's also the learning experience, you know? The biggest battle that I have is doing all of this stuff and sticking to that time frame and sticking to the schedule and taking notes. Oh my goodness, notes. The number of notepads that I have on my desk is ridiculous. I've got a small pocket spiral that I take with me. Not every day, not everywhere. But like when I go to pick up my kids from school, when I go to pick up my youngest from school, I sit in the parking lot and I'm there for 30, 40 minutes before I have to get there because it's a nightmare trying to get into the line if you're there at pickup time. So, you know, I'm one of those parents that shows up super early. But if I don't have anything going on, if I'm not working on the grocery list or listening to another podcast, doing some research for a project I'm doing, any of that stuff, like if I have genuine free time to sit there and think, I have this little notebook out and I am putting my brain into fifth gear, flooring it and writing down everything that comes to mind. So I have 2, 3, 4 pages of podcast ideas for solo stuff like this and for stuff with guests and trying to get the ideas worked out. So right now there's lists. The next few pages are ideas of each of those topics or each of the things on the list, kind of expanded out a bit more. And it's stuff that I didn't consider, didn't think that I was going to be doing, but I've been so invested in this. And some of that stuff comes back to even critiquing the other episodes. You know, I've mentioned it before. I don't remember if it was the ADHD episode or just the intro, but I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to criticism. So going through the episodes, I take notes on what was great, what wasn't great. I know I'm going to be super critical going forward, especially after hearing the other podcasters who appreciated certain things and didn't like other things. Even though some of the things they didn't like were related to quality control and technical issues, I'm still super critical of that stuff, you know? And I think that's what makes working on a project so fun, is that you can take the criticism and you can grow with it. You know, if you're one of those people that sits there and is like, yeah, I love getting critical responses from people and critical feedback, and I like that people will take the time to look at this and da-da-da. And if you're not honestly taking that information and taking the feedback and working with it, I don't think you enjoy it as much as you do. Like, I genuinely appreciate the feedback. Some of it's harsh, which I expect. You know, I haven't gotten any really harsh feedback, but I know it's coming, because the only direction for this podcast is to expand and be heard by more people. Whether or not it's going to be en masse all at once, or slowly by just, people that discover it on their own, and it's whatever happens with it. Like, I expect the feedback to come in, and somebody's not going to like it for one reason or another. They're not going to like a topic or whatever, But as a project, as something that I'm working on and I really value, I want to take that feedback and grow with it. So again, being my own worst critic, I've got pages of notes. I've got things that I didn't like that I'm working on. I've made a ton of adjustments to how I record so far. This is a great example. I used to have the mic set up behind my monitor because that's how I did it with my streaming. I wasn't super concerned with the audio quality during the streams for myself because it was more about the gaming and the charity work. Since doing the podcast, though, I've brought the microphone more forward. I still try to keep it at a camera during streams, but like right now, it's actually within about a foot of my face, which is way closer than I ever have it, and I think that's improved the quality. The videos that I'm working on, again, trying to get that all figured out so we can have actual videos, so I think that's improving. I think I'm making steps forward with that. What I have recorded with everybody has been fun. The cameras have worked out. We've got some decent video here and there. But it's the journey of going through this that I'm really enjoying. And again, I want to keep coming back to it and just thanking you guys for being part of it. Because honestly, without you guys, without the feedback, and without the people giving the pod a chance, I really wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. Without you guys, I wouldn't have the passion project I've wanted to do for years and actually have it here. So thank you guys. So let's talk for a second here about what's to come, the episodes that I have on the plate that are coming up. The next episode, again, is fully recorded, so we'll talk about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about ideas that I have written down and just kind of throw them out there so they're out in the universe. And whether you're somebody who's looking for a creative idea, or if you're somebody who's looking to see, kind of what's coming with this podcast because you're interested to see what future topics are, maybe that'll help. I don't know. I had it written down as an idea, so I kind of want to go out there and just throw it out there and see what happens. But before I do, just to kind of recap again, all the episodes that have come out so far, the pilot episode, the sports episode, I call it the sports episode. It's the Friends Today, Rivals Tomorrow with Mig Train, ADHD and Me, Taskmaster, Hobby Tunes, Story Time, which let's stop for a quick second here. Story Time, I'm really excited for that one. I have a couple ideas for Story Time written down to carry on. School Part 2 I have written down. I would love to hear what you guys would like to hear about school and what happened when I was in school and how it compares to you guys. Because again, podcasts for millennials. Where are my millennials at, you guys? Who remembers some things from school and you're like, I don't know if this is actually something that was like common. Because I'm learning there's a lot of things that I did that were not the same across the board and I thought they were. So I'm going to talk about some of those in the next School Part 2 episode. I've got a couple few. What was that? I have a couple of episodes and a few new story time ideas I want to bring out. I'm kind of keeping those close to the chest right now because I'm not 100% confident. I'm not quite ready to throw those out because I'm back and forth on whether or not it'd be kind of fun to have a guest for those. Some of them would be, but those I'm working on. I'm keeping close to me here. But going back to the episodes, technical difficulties, and You Deserve Happiness, and the Just Jack Black episode that just came out. Like, I genuinely feel good about what we're doing, what this podcast is doing. I cannot thank my guests enough for taking the time to do the podcast with me. I know it's kind of a wild concept right now in the early stages for some people to understand, but it is that hangout. It is that moment of being able to talk to you guys and not come across feeling like a teacher giving a lecture, So for episodes coming up and things that I have out kind of in the universe that I'm working on, some of these are with guests and some are not. So keep that in mind. I can't tell you which ones for sure are because I haven't decided. I just kind of threw the idea out there. But Mig Train and I had mentioned talking about best and worst actors in our own kind of subjective way. Bullet point, Will Ferrell is a terrible actor, great comedian. We'll talk about that in that pod if it ever happens. Survival situations that we have, fears and why they're fears, which could also tie into the survival situations and turn into a story time. I have an episode idea for firsts. First things we've ever done, first times we've ever experienced things. It's a very broad topic, which I think it could be kind of fun with guest and without guest. I've talked with my kids about having them on the pod and doing an episode of something. Haven't quite figured it out. We've talked about a few things. We talked about, like, you know, what would the kids do if we said this thing? What would the kids do in this situation? And just letting them genuinely respond and see how they go, and just kind of reacting to that. Not to put them on the spot and get them in trouble kind of stuff, but to kind of see how they would actually react to things and see how they feed off of each other. I've got a joke battle, and I'm trying to find the right person for it. I want to make sure it's one of my close friends, because I want to do, and it sounds ridiculous, but I know a lot of people have seen it, and a lot of my friends have pointed out, like, oh, you should do something like that, it'd be great. But I want to do one of the joke battles where the goal is not to laugh, the not laugh challenges, because, oh man, do I have a book and a half of dad jokes that I have just been saving. They are in my brain vault, and they are ready to go. Let's see, poorly describing something, I think would be kind of fun. Which would come from suggestions from people, give me an object and I will try to poorly describe it in the funniest way possible. And one of the more fun ones I thought I would bring to the show would be letting a randomizer, letting a word generator or something like that come up with two things that I have to put together and make work, like pickup lines and pirates. How do I make those work, you know? And just, I think it would be kind of fun to do that and just kind of see where it goes. You know, it's about the fun aspect of it and just kind of doing something fun. So hopefully I can bring that to you guys and keep the laughter going. Hopefully I can bring you guys something fun that you're, able to listen to and be like, oh man, that was that felt too real, you know? So we're gonna go ahead and get a couple of those out there. That, again, just a sample. That's just the tip of the iceberg of what's in this spiral that I have written down. I'm excited to bring it all to you guys eventually. I've got to figure out the how and the when, but when I do, I'll let you guys know all of that on Twitter and across the socials as best I can. I'm trying to figure that out, guys. I'm working on it. I know not everybody's on Twitter and not everybody wants to use Twitter, so I'm trying to get that information out across the Instagram post, the YouTube shorts, trying to post it on Facebook, all that stuff. I will get the information out there to you guys as best I can, as quick as I can. So for now, I'm going to wrap things up. Remind you guys, get involved in the conversations. You can find me on pretty much every social at Letshangoutpod. You can use the hashtag Letshangoutpod to throw topic ideas and discuss episodes and whatever you guys want to do to influence the show. Please throw it out there. Everything is on the table. It's open to talk about. And I really want you guys to be able to, again, just kind of be involved, even if it's something simple. Throw it out there. Hey, it's so-and-so from such and such, and just wanted to say hi and I listened to the show, something like that. Even that little thing I would appreciate and throw out there. I would absolutely recognize my listeners on here. I don't care where you're from, what you're doing. You tag me in something and say, hey, I'm so-and-so and I loved this episode. I'm going to give you a shout out. Like, legitimately, I'm going to give every one of those people a shout out in their own way. So again, all the socials, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, at Letshangoutpod. Works everywhere. Come and find me. Let's talk. Let's hang out. Let's have some fun, guys. I'm going to get out of here, guys. You enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and I will catch you on the next episode with something super fun with Migtrain and Zerelius, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. I can't wait to put it out there. I will catch you later, guys. Have a good one.